Hey guys, my name's Cameron Bean. This is my wife
Kelsie Bean.
and my dad
Eric Bean.
and our dog Doc Holiday. This is our company, Bald Mount Manufacturing. We're going to give you guys a tour. So this started for me in the summer of 2021. I was going to college for mechanical engineering and didn't really know what I wanted to do with my degree. I was looking for an internship that summer and knocked on the doors of a local company that designed and manufactured their own products in-house. And they gave me a tour of their machine shop where I'd never been in a machine shop before. So they had robotic cells in front of 3+2 CNC mills with trunnions in them. And so they were taking, billet blocks of aluminum and putting them in the machine with the robotic arm. And on the other side of the shelf was a fully finished billet foot peg. And I was just kind of fascinated by the whole process. I'd never really thought of that side of things. They had the shop full of these autonomous machines with not very many guys in there, and they were cranking out parts. And I thought it was awesome. So they hired me that summer as an intern, kind of got mildly introduced to machining. And then the summer after I graduated, they hired me full time, and I really got immersed into CNC machining. Like I said, they had a lot of 3+2 solutions. So I started to learn on 5th axis machines, which was challenging. Like I had to learn very fast, but I loved every moment of it. So during that time, I kind of got it in my head that it would be awesome to start my own shop. And at around that time, we had a family member who had a shop, which I'm standing in right now, which has been a huge blessing. He had a 3,000 square foot shop. We're using 1,000 square feet of it. So yeah, during that time when I was working full time, I only worked about 8 months after graduation, but I saved up and bought this welder. My wife and I joke we bought it honestly because it was very budget friendly. I think this machine was maybe like $500 or $600, and the tank was like an additional $400. And I remember calling my wife and being like, "Oh, it's $400. I don't know if we should do this." And she was the one that was like, "If you don't do it now, I don't know if you will." So we did it, and yeah. That's the fake sticker price that we joke about that we got ourselves on, like, oh, it's only $600 to get into a machining. Yeah, I wish everything was $600, but that was our starter piece. The other thing with this welder was it allowed me to go into local shops, introduce myself, offer them a service that they might not have in-house, and kind of just get familiar with these guys. And then when I did get a machine, there would already be that pre-existing relationship. And they'd know, oh, Cameron, like we can trust this guy. We'll kick him some overflow work. I'll let my dad introduce kind of like the next phase of the shop.
I'm Eric, is Cameron's dad, as we already mentioned, and my background is general business. I bring 20 plus years of business and law background. I was a general counsel for a lot of years with a larger company in the corporate world, and I had been in the background as Cameron started his business, and as we came up to the point where I became involved, I'd been working for quite a while, looking for an opportunity to make a change, and I wasn't sure what that change was. But then as Cameron's business came more and more online, and I was in the background, it's just been really fun. I've always had a interest in mechanical things. I've ridden off-road motorcycles for years and years. I continue to do so. It's still kind of my passion, hobby. And when I'm not here, I'm usually off in the boonies on my dirt bike. And I'm thankful to be able to do that while I'm still in good health. But this has just been really fun for me. I've been working in the background to organize and establish processes, establish business document templates, and those sorts of things. Coming back to the shop tour, cutting areas right here. It's quite simple, as you can see. We just have a simple bandsaw. It's doing the job for us now, and we would like to eventually upgrade that, but we're doing fine with it right now. This is the mini mill. This was Cameron's first mill that he purchased, and he purchased it used. It was, I think, a really smart purchase for Cameron. I admired the way he went about it. He worked with another local shop that he'd been doing some work for, and the opportunity opened up to purchase this machine. And he's able to do it without taking on a big overhead in the form of a loan or something like that. And so, and it was a great platform for him to learn on, and it's just continued to plug away, and we continue to use it. It's a great machine for us. We also can't quite see it from this angle. Behind here we have a little storage area for material. We try to keep a fair amount of 6061 on hand so that we can do quick turnarounds for customers that need that, and so we can have the stock on hand to do that. On the organizational side, have a little tool holder here. This helps us move around between machines. We will most likely need to buy another one of these. We continue to look at ways to store tooling, but it's doing the job for us now. We've labeled the drawers on this. This is our main toolbox. We have another one off to the right here, and bit storage. And we've been experimenting with 3D printing to store our drill bits to start with, and that's worked well. Purchased a 3D printer, and so we've been printing the little storage boxes for the drills, and that's worked real well. Gets the job done for us now, and we'll continue to kind of expand that into the other drawers. As I mentioned, we've been working on process. We have intentions to do some ISO certifications in the future. We don't have those in place yet, but it's something that I'll be working on in the background. Along with ITAR, we intend to be ITAR certified as well this year.
So like my dad was saying, this has been our next mill, this BM3. Been a pretty big upgrade from our mini mill. Both operate well in their respective capacities, but with our mini mill, we quickly ran out of travel dimensions, so we were having to turn down jobs because parts were too big or we have to reorient them. We also ran out of Z travel pretty quickly, so this BM3 has been a great large capacity 3-axis mill. We've had to hang stuff out the doors even in this, but that's opened us up to jobs that we would not have been able to take before. I think it weighs roughly 3 times as much as the other mill, so a lot more rigidity, so more accuracy. And if we're not just doing bigger parts, we can also obviously do more parts at a time between taking them out, one part at a time. So now we can do, 4 or 5, whatever, that many parts at a time. These are our only 2 mills that we've got right now. I think for the next mill, we'd probably get into the 5th-axis world. We'd like to go back into it. I mean, that's what initially drew me into machining in the first place. And we've had parts that have required it that we have had to turn down. So I don't know if it's going to be a full 5th-axis mill or another 3+2 solution. But that would ideally be our next step. So I'll take you guys back around to our other non-CNC machine. If you want to step back here. So this is our tool grinder. I got this just a little while after I got the mini mill. And the reason we got this is because I was actually sharpening tools for people locally here. And it helped give us an extra sense of cash flow. So can't ever say that I was super passionate about sharpening tools or making modifications to them. But like I said, it was a way to get cash flow in the early days. It's so clean right now because we're actually selling it. We're going to focus primarily on machining at this point. But yeah, pretty cool, interesting machine. Allowed us to even sharpen drills on it. So this part of our shop is our CAD CAM station where we do all the programming of our machines. We try to keep a good flow through here. So the idea is job comes in, cut the material or at least receive material on the entrance over there, bring it through the shop. We can put programs on here and then keep like kind of an open flow through the shop so we can easily be running back and forth if we need to make a change to the program that we can't do on the controller. Right here is our shipping and receiving area. So just got standard packaging material, boxes, bubble wrap, tape, that kind of thing. A lot of times when parts come off the machine, we'll put them on here for the final staging where they'll get wrapped and weighed and then taken out of the shop. I'll let Kelsie go into her introduction, her background, and her contributions to the company next.
Hi, I'm Kelsie. I started Bald Mountain Manufacturing with my husband in 2023. And in the beginning, I was really just supporting Cameron any way I could. It was a lot of running and dropping off parts, picking up material, running to anodizing, and a lot of the clerical work. So the filing and connection emails, all of that you need to run a shop. And as we expanded from welding into machining, that just emphasized even more. I have been known to be a button pusher, but I really emphasized my role once Eric came on into marketing and sales, as you need jobs coming in to grow. So I have kind of taken that role and emphasize that for myself, really establishing an online connection, an online presence, making new connections, and just making sure that those jobs are flowing in the door so that we can grow. Something that Cameron and Eric didn't touch on is that when we first started, we had no heat or AC. So I'm personally excited to say that we are fully temperature controlled right now. And as we've grown and updated our facility, we've also grown our industries. We started with food and recreational, and we've now broken into the medical industry, semiconductor, and industrial automation.
So this is our support equipment of the shop. I wanted to talk about this area because it's a little unique, and I thought other small shop owners could be able to relate to this section. So we've got just single phase coming into this building. So we use a rotary phase converter to get 3-phase out of it. That 3-phase powers our air compressor in our big mill also. And when we first took both of these up, we found that the mill would run just fine until the compressor kicked on. And then we would get a low voltage alarm on the mill because that compressor would take such a load on the voltage. So our solution to it was to get a variable frequency drive to slow start our compressor. So I think it's a 6-second spool up from start to full power instead of just kicking on full force immediately. And that's allowed us to we can run every machine in the shop at the same time now, which has been awesome, without making any additional modifications. Obviously, if we get another machine, we're gonna have to make some additional modifications, but we'll figure it out when we get there. The power that's incoming also, I thought this would be unique to talk about because we're in a rural area in an agricultural setting, and we're at the end of a power line that powers a lot of agricultural equipment, so irrigation pumps and pivots, that kind of thing. So in the summer when we got our mill, we would measure the incoming voltage and then put it in its respective connector. So I can't remember the exact voltages. I want to say it was like 230 volts incoming. We put it in the 230 volt bridge. Like I said, I know each one of those bridges has, I think, maybe like a 10 volt variation in it. So midday, when all those irrigation pumps would turn on, our incoming voltage to the building would actually drop below the threshold. So we would start in one section, and at the end of the day, it would drop below that threshold, and we would get a low voltage alarm on our machine. And it would start in the middle of the section during the morning, and then it would drop below midday. So it was just out of range. Like it was moving between those two voltage connections. So we actually had to have the power company increase our incoming voltage by, I think, like 7 volts. So in the summer, it starts out at the high end of the voltage connection, and midday it drops to the low end, and the difference is just enough where we can still manage to run that mill on the same connection without having to change anything. So that took us a little bit to figure out. We didn't know what was going on, and like I said, our electricity situation is a little bit unique out here where we live. So anyway, those are just some of the problems that we face when building the shop. That has nothing to do with machining, has nothing to do with the business, just things we've had to figure out to get to where we've had to be.